Columbia, South Carolina. Folks in these parts call the state capital the Soda City, and for almost 2 decades now, they've been drinking in the success of a basketball juggernaut. In the house that Don Staley built, Asia Wilson came in and decorated the place. And while the faces have changed, one thing endures: Gamecocks domination, where undefeated is a given and the fans are family. This is College Game Day from Columbia, South Carolina.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Place should be jam-packed and very loud tonight.
This place is buzzing.
If you build it, they will come.
They are here and they are ready.
And here we go.
This is College Game Day, ladies and gentlemen.
Y'all knew I was going to shoot a logo 3 for the record. Come on now.
A show-stopping highlight.
There are talented players in our game.
Freshman sensation.
On a big stage, fearless.
This doesn't get much better.
Juju Watkins show 51. Every time you turn on a game, you're going to get a show.
College Game Day, live from Columbia, South Carolina, is covered by State Farm.
That is right. College Game Day bus has rolled into a familiar place, Colonial Life Arena. With the fans in attendance, this team hasn't lost a game here in almost 4 years. And certainly, they're hoping to get that streak going today as #1 South Carolina is in action against Georgia. And we officially say, ooh, let's go. Hello from courtside. I am Elle Duncan alongside my whole squad, including a surprise visitor, Sir Big Spur in the building. Let's go, fams.
Oh, yeah. That's my date for the day.
We've got our resident Lady Vol, Andrea Carter, Chiney Ogwumike, our Stanford Cardinal, joining our coverage this year. So glad to have you, Chiney. And of course, our own Black History Month trailblazer, Carolyn Peck, who is the first Black woman to win a national championship as a head coach. Let's go, CP. And now you get to hold Sir Big Skirt.
Oh, yeah. Big sir, right here.
So much history.
Just trying to hold it together.
She really is.
Sinead?
Dre has a pet snake,
I
but an
have
aversion to chickens.
I have a fear of birds.
Okay.
But I'm in the right place, though, because so does the rest of the country. South Carolina is undefeated. You see what I did?
There we go. Everybody's scared of Sir Big Spur. Speaking of making history, by the way, guys, first time ever Game Day is on ABC. But it's really been a week of history. You may have heard that we've got a new all-time points leader. In fact, let's take a look at that made history presented by State Farm. Caitlin Clark wasting no time on Thursday against Michigan, 2 minutes and 12 seconds into the game. And from the parking lot, she makes history and breaks Kelsey Plum's D1 record. And there she sits after a 49-point outburst against Michigan. Absolutely incredible. And Chiney, when you sort of think about the perspective, we've been doing plenty of that perspective setting. What stands out to you about what Caitlin Clark just accomplished?
My goodness, her ability to meet the moment. I mean, it was the signature shot for me to break the record with a logo 3 was iconic, and it was truly fitting. And you think about overall, she made this goal to break the record, and she has delivered in her senior year, averaging 33 points, 8 assists, has been so impressive. But then also just what she's carrying on her shoulders for the women's game. I think that it's great to see that that was one record that she broke, and more are to come.
It was so impressive to me. In that Michigan game, she only needed 8 points. Well, she came out and got that in about the first 8 minutes.
Yup.
Seriously.
I mean, she went to work, right, to kind of like, let me get this off my
Get it out of
plate
the way.
and I can settle in and I can go play.
It was a foregone conclusion she would do it, maybe even for Michigan as well. Her opponent, they gave her a card to celebrate. What are you, Drea, you feel like you have some thoughts about Michigan giving her a card to congratulate her?
I had some, bless Holly Rose Hart. Holly puts this tweet out, and I know, y'all know Holly. Holly's like, oh, this is so sweet. I saw that tweet about, there was a tweet that said Michigan, they all wrote cards to Caitlin Clark. As soon as I saw that, I was like, soft. Soft, 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 soft. I hate it. However, I've gathered more intel. Apparently, it was one card that they all signed before the game.
No.
But
before the game.
How are you going to sign a card congratulating your opponent before the game?
She needed 8 points.
Look,
she's going to get 8 in her
I don't
sleep.
care. I'd rather get ejected than give my opponent 8 points from the jump.
She gets 8 points as soon as she steps on the court. So you're saying
it's a competitive mindset.
You're saying
thing.
she drops 49. You want to sign a card after she puts 49?
I went out there and I did my job. Guess what? Kudos to you for dropping 49, but I'm not going to sign you a thank you card.
No, I'm saying here's your 8 points.
Yeah,
I'm not accepting 49. You don't get anything from me after you drop 49 points.
To Michigan's credit, Caitlin Clark had never scored less than 8 points in her entire career in Iowa, so it was a foregone conclusion. It sort of feels like that when it comes to South Carolina being the #1 team in the country as well. The only undefeated team left in the nation, women's or men's. They have won 54 straight here at Colonial Life, the third longest home win streak in conference history. And of course, they've won 42 straight regular season games against SEC foes, tied for the longest mark in conference history. You hear the music, you know what's coming. Sandstorm in the building, and it's fitting because we had to bring in Dawn Staley. Let's go! Make some noise, Colonial Life.
I'm so excited she took my towel.
She's like, I'm taking it. Hey, Coach.
What's going on, Al?
We love being here, obviously. The atmosphere is unmatched, but I mentioned it. It feels like business as usual, Dawn, but you lost all 5 of your starters, and you only returned 33% of your offense. You were really quick to say this was not a real rebuild, but are you even surprised at how the retool has gone?
I am, considering what it looked like in June, like early retirement. Like seriously, I was considering it. seriously, like no, but it's called meeting not only just individual players, but our team where they were, and they really weren't in a good place. We lacked leadership. We lacked a lot of things. We lacked conditioning. We lacked a discipline. But once you start forming your habits, they picked up on them fairly quickly. For the returners, they understood, but they were in a new situation themselves because they were the ones that are the example setters. Now, they used to wait until the freshies do their thing and they just followed their lead. Now they're the leaders. And sometimes that takes you back because you have to change how you approach things because you're the one that people are looking at. And I thought it took a little longer than we wanted. But if I knew it was going to turn out like this, I probably wouldn't have been as mad.
So backed up.
Well, let's go, Dawn, let's go into Carolyn's coaching corner, and let's look at 2 players that were ready to step into their roles. We've got Raven Johnson and Ashlyn Watkins. Let's start with Raven Johnson. You break your, that's your team.
So Raven's doing a great job. She's ended up on Paige and great help. You think that once you're playing Paige that you're going to be hugged up on her, but Raven was in great condition, great position, and got the steal and layup. And now we got Ashlyn Watkins. We wanted them to play 2-man game, and if they exhausted all those options, Ashlyn needed to go to the basket, got it back to Powell, broken play. Ashlyn's making a play. Ashlyn's put herself in a position where she's great. On the block, in the paint against Rakia, it's over. If that's the money-making position. If Ashlyn gets anybody in that position, it's a bucket.
Well, how vital is it that Ashlyn Watkins has found her superpower on the offensive end?
I mean, Ashlyn has been elevating her play, and sometimes you look at the other post players and it can take you back. If you're a starter, if you're Chloe, it's like, damn, Ashlyn is playing. Like, is she going to take my starting position? And I say no, because we're going to keep it how it is. But sometimes your teammates aren't necessarily not playing well. It's just you got a player that's elevated her game, and you got to ride it until the cows come home. So we're not going to change our starting lineup. Ashlyn wants to be the 6th player of the year in the SEC.
Making a
so
good
she's
case.
got to go. She's got to go.
Yeah.
She's got to go. She'll play starter minutes, though, for sure.
That's all that matters is playing starter minutes. Coach, Carolyn just mentioned Ashlyn finding her superpower, and I don't know if your players even know. I don't know if people at home know. When you were on the court as a player, you had superpowers. You were one of the best to ever play this game. Let's go ahead and show some highlights here, just to remind the people at home, and I've got to ask you, Coach, when it comes to your guards specifically, what aspects of your game as a player do you try to instill in your guards as you coach them? Because you were great and you've created incredible guards as well.
Well, I mean, it varies. We got some generational talent. We got some experience out of this world, like Pau Pau and Malaysia. I just want our players in a good mental space where they can just be themselves. Like with Malaysia, I mean, she gets mad if we don't call the foul in practice. She gets super mad, right? So I'm like, hey, you can get mad, but this happens in the game.
Right.
Don't forget about you being a generational talent, and you can change the trajectory of a game in a matter of a play or two.
Yep.
So don't worry about some of the stuff that you can't control. With Pau Pau, I just want Pau Pau to just be her. Like, we got your help. Just naturally be you. Knock down threes, manage the basketball game for us, and then when the game's on the line, you need to dagger somebody.
Yup. Yeah. Just like you talk about generational talent, Coach. You are one of the best point guards to ever touch a basketball. But the irony is, the gag is, your program has produced a pipeline of prestigious posts. I mean, one has a statue outside Asia Wilson. What is your perspective on the importance of that position?
Secretly, I wanted to always be a post player. So I know.
Come on over, Coach.
I know what moves them.
We need to keep her over here to the coach, please.
I know what moves them. Like, I played with Lisa Leslie.
Yep.
She's the best post player in the world when we were playing together. I just knew how to get her the ball where she could be effective as a point guard and a coach. I know how to get our post players the ball. I know that although I'm a guard, they make your program go.
Right. Yeah.
They really do make your pro. We made a living off of post play. Asia Wilson, Aaliyah Boston, Elena Coates, all of them are super great, unselfish players that you got to instill some selfishness in them because you know they could take us to the next level.
Selfishly, we'd like to talk to you like all day, but we know you have to go. But very quickly, Coach, you're having a bronze statue that is going to be put up right now. I know you did not ask for this statue.
Look at that.
But Coach, here's some photos of the renderings right now. But Coach, this statue is going to go across from the South Carolina State House, where a Confederate flag flew for almost 5 decades before it was removed. Just the significance and impact of a black woman being there.
I mean, it takes me back. I wanted Asia Wilson to be the only USC athlete to be bestowed that honor. I mean, it's bigger than basketball, obviously. It's something that the city of Columbia wanted. It wasn't anything that I politicked for. They wanted to bring it. They wanted to represent our city's diverse, our state's diverse. And it's awesome because not very many women, let alone black women, get bestowed in this honor. Now we have 2 places in which you can come.
Yes.
To the city of Columbia and see 2. And all through playing basketball, all through the round ball of playing basketball. So I think it's an incredible honor that I probably don't know its significance as we sit here today. But my mom would be proud as a South Carolinian.
Yes.
She would be super proud.
The ancestors are certainly proud. Coach, thank you for joining us. Good luck today and the rest of the way. In fact, for much more on Don Staley's impact on the sport here in South Carolina, let's get it to the other member of our team, Holly Rowe.
I am here with Coach's section. Of course, she is their boo. And Don Staley has absolutely transformed one of the biggest turnarounds we've ever seen in women's college basketball. When Colonial Life Arena was started in 2002, they only sold about 2,000 tickets a game, 0 season ticket holders. After Don got named the head coach in 2008, immediately before a game was even played, there were 2,000 season ticket holders purchased. Now she has transformed it even further. After the first SEC title, 8,500 season tickets were sold, and this season, in a building that seats 18,000, there are 12,500 season tickets sold. It is incredible to impact this game in such a way. Don Staley, over 250% increase in ticket sales, and Don has just changed this community. She deserves that statue. This is one of the greatest turnarounds we've ever seen in women's basketball. The 13th sellout in history today, and that is all because of that woman sitting there. Don Staley, congratulations on what you have built here in Columbia, South Carolina.
Absolutely. perspective there from Holly Rose. Certainly has been a steward of the game for so long. All right, still ahead, guys. South Carolina's your odds-on favorite to take the title. We know that, but who's their biggest competition in pursuit of it? We're going to earmark a couple of contenders. And with Caitlin Clark now atop the record books, we're going to tell you why she is uniquely making, not history, folks, making her story. All that ahead when Game Day returns.
Everyone else took a seat, I'm the only one left on the floor.
She's doing it all.
Swatted away.
Becker's got it mid-range.
Phenomenal defense.
You know who was there? Angel Reese.
22 is now number
1. College Game Day is covered by State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. And in part by Wendy's. Start your day with the official breakfast of the NCAA all season long.
USC, go Dogs!
Welcome back to College Game Day, covered by State Farm.
I know everybody wants me to address the elephant in the room. This will not be my last senior night here at UConn.
There's a lot of excitement about the possibilities of having a full squad. I think they got what they want. They got their wish. I'll be back.
Thank you guys. We love you. We still need your support the rest of the season, and we'll see you soon.
Wooden Award winner Paige Becker's coming back for another go at UConn. Maybe a pair of future winners here as well. It's time now for Wooden Watch, presented by Principal. Caitlin Clark is the leader in the clubhouse. We know that, but if it wasn't for her, how about Juju Watkins and Hannah Hidalgo? They'd be top of the list. Only 5 times in D1 history has a freshman scored 25 per game. Watkins clear of that. Hidalgo just a tick under that mark herself. We just heard Dawn Staley say that she always wished she could be a post player. Anyone that knows me knows I always wish that I could be a DJ. So DJ T.O. let me take over her box so that I could just be, I'm just a DJ playlist if I'm being honest. But we talked about Hannah Hidalgo there, Drea, and you've got her as featured in your mixtape, okay? And you say that the theme of this mixtape is Friday on a Sunday.
Friday on a Sunday. Friday on a Sunday. I'm going to explain why after. Let's just roll the mixtape first.
One of the biggest stars in the game.
One of the most electrifying players in the nation.
Hidalgo, what a move! And the finish!
Hannah Hidalgo is a really special talent.
She does not play like a freshman. Here we go. Sidestep by Felicia. Banks open on a Sunday. You know 2 things that match: ball handling and buckets. She is skilled on offense, and she's Debo on defense. She won't steal your bike, but she will steal the ball. And when she comes around, just pass it. When she leaves, you can dribble again. Remember it, write it down, take a picture. If you're a fan, if you're an opponent, you've got a game plan. I'm telling you, Hannah Hidalgo, the best 2-way guard in the country. And you know this, man.
I like that.
It's Friday on a Sunday because she's so good, you don't know what day of the week it is when you're going against her. I also dropped a lot of Friday lines. If you didn't catch them, I can't help you with that.
Go watch the movie.
100%. If you haven't seen it, you probably aren't going
She's
to at this
amazing.
point.
She is incredible. It's her offensive skill and it's her defensive relentlessness that makes her so much fun to watch. She is so quick. She's got incredible instincts. Her numbers speak for themselves, and she has put that team on her back multiple times as a freshman. We did Juju the first game day.
Yeah, Juju on the
did
beat.
Hannah on this game day. The game is in good hands with those 2, but with this freshman class.
Okay, also fun is watching you do the mixtape, so we want in. Okay, so if we're building our own playlist or mixtape for the season with players that we've been watching, what song is on repeat for you right now, Chanae?
You guys know I could not pick just one player, so I had to pick 2. And of course, I'm gonna go from the PAC conference. So give me Tupac, All Eyes on Me, All Eyes on Juju Watkins and Cameron Brink. Juju, my goodness, her 3rd straight 30-point game. She's got 10 30-point games on the season, tying the great Cheryl Miller. And that's the human helicopter, y'all. Cameron Brink, who leads the nation in blocks and has Stanford on the brink of another Final Four, coming in at number 2 in the ranking. So yeah, you guys see me. All eyes on me.
Okay, I'm going to lose all street cred, but I'm going with the Black Eyed Peas. Do you remember that song, Boom Boom Pow?
Love it.
Boom, boom, pow, pow. Dawn Staley saw Te-Hina pow, pow in Oregon and said, gotta get that. Gotta get that. She's given South Carolina a boon from deep. She's an amazing facilitator. If you think South Carolina is only Post Malone, you're so 2000 and late. And she is a big part of the reason, so I'm watching Te-Hina pow, pow.
Okay, that was cute. Boom, boom, pow.
Boom, boom, pow. All right, what about
That's
you?
my turn.
Yeah,
That's my turn.
Okay.
What you got?
What you got, Coach?
As Mike Jones says, still tipping on fofos.
Let's go.
Can we talk about Lauren Taylor? That's right down the street in Florence, South Carolina at Francis Marion. She had 44 rebounds.
Come on.
44 rebounds. She put up 34 minutes. In 34 points in 26 minutes. Yeah, Mike Jones tipping on fofos.
In 26 minutes, she had 34 points and 44 rebounds.
Say it again for the people in the back.
I gotta go.
Right.
I mean,
We got her at the right time.
Yeah,
rebounds.
I'm glad I'm not there.
And it wasn't just her own. It was out of area rebounds that Lauren Taylor went and get.
So some incredible performances put to a playlist. If you haven't heard any of those songs, now you should. All right.
Tipping on fofos.
Hey, that's you said.
Wrapped in Fovos. Hey, okay, we got a pair of top 25 matchups today for you on this slate. Number 12, Virginia Tech, and 18th ranked Louisville. That's a 2 on ESPN. And then we mentioned her, Juju Watkins and USC. Big roadie. Number 11, Oregon State. That's going to be a good one. But in the Big 12, Baylor hosts Texas Tech. And it'll be honoring one of the best to wear that uniform, Brittany Griner, set to have her number retired. Holly Rowe has so much more.
Well, Brittany Griner was one of the most dominant players in women's college basketball. When she came into the league at 2009, she was a 3-time All-American as a freshman, got her team to the Final Four, and her impact in the game was bigger than life. We were able to catch up with Brittany Griner before her special day in Waco.
What do you remember of your time dominating in college basketball?
I mean, you described it perfectly. It was literally like a storm coming through. It was just so many things. Going to the Final Four my freshman year in San Antonio, you know, we had the upset with UConn. We came back, we learned from that, and then it just kept going from there. 40-0. It's just so many great moments.
What do you remember about the impact you had on people in college basketball, how they would line up everywhere you went to see you?
Being in the city and people coming up to me and just saying, you know, giving me little snippets of what I've done that I didn't even know I did. That's when you start to realize, like, the impact that you're having.
Well, Brittany Griner had a huge impact. Her freshman year alone, she had 223 blocks. And this year I was at Caitlin Clark's record-breaking game the other night in Iowa City, and a lot of people have asked me, have you ever seen anything like it, the frenzy, the clamor for excitement around Caitlin Clark? And I said, yeah, I saw that for Brittany Griner back in the day. So very excited she's getting her jersey retired. It should have happened a lot sooner. Brittany, a proud member, she's got her degree from Baylor, and her number will be in the rafters today, where it should have always been.
Thank you so much, Holly. What a proud day for Brittany Griner. What a proud day for women yesterday. We got to give a shout out to our girl Sabrina Ionescu, who was just barely edged out by the greatest shooter of all time and Steph Curry last night in the inaugural Steph versus Sabrina three-point contest. She nailed the first 7, and for what it's worth, she tied Damian Lillard, who was the three-point winner from earlier in the night, with 26 points. And how about our own Andrea Carter in like 4-inch heels, making the shot, the half-court shot yesterday ahead of men's college game day. I see you, Dre. Look at the skill. Look at the skill. Now, here's the thing. We've got Mariah Little here, and you don't have to make a half-court shot. You don't have to make 30 shots. You just have to make 4 shots because it is time for our State Farm three-point challenge. You're a freshman. Biology is your major. This $19,000 could go a really long way for you. Am I right?
Yes, ma'am, but I'm going to save it.
Okay, yes. That's right. She's going to save it.
Smart.
As she should. That $19,000, of course, representing the over 19,000 State Farm representatives across the country and Canada. Are you ready? You got to make all 4 shots. You ready?
I'm ready.
Let's go. Y'all make some noise for Mariah.
Let's go, Mariah. You got this, girl.
Here we go.
Time starts when you touch the ball. Go.
Ready? Let's go. Let's go. Here we go.
Come on.
Good lift.
Okay.
Oh, she got good point.
Okay.
You got it. You got it.
There we go.
There we go.
That's it. That's in there.
Okay, let's go. Make some noise for
One
Mariah.
down.
Let's go, Mariah.
Okay, that looked good.
Come on, Mariah. That's called glass.
Keep going. Keep going. That's it.
That's
it looked
okay.
good.
Arch it.
2 of them.
Oh, come on, real quick. Come on. Count it.
Let's get one more.
Hey! They look good, though. Listen, that's okay because despite the fact she didn't hit all 4, you're still going to walk away with $1,900 today, courtesy of State Farm. Make some noise for Mariah. Save that, too.
Nice job, Mariah.
Save that as well. All right, thank you so much. Still ahead. Maybe Caitlin Clark could learn a lesson from you, Mariah. Caitlin Clark, we'll talk about how the chase is officially complete, the perspective of accomplishing what she did, and how it highlights women.
Like thousands of other kids, this little girl's dream started on a mini hoop in her basement in the heartland of small-town America. Caitlin Clark's competitive fire was fueled trying to keep up with her brothers.
Just typical one-on-one games. There was a loose ball, and she ended up shoving me into the corner of a basement wall, split my head open, got 4 staples.
She grew up idolizing Yukon and Minnesota Lynx legend Maya Moore, wishing one day she could be just like her. Now she is the one inspiring the dreams of kids all around the country.
You drove 1,000 miles. Where did you come from? Central Arkansas. Caitlin!
Clark's passionate play and creative flair has made for must-watch basketball. From the logo, of course.
Here comes Clark. How will she go for history? The all-time leading scorer in women's college basketball.
Game-winning shots?
Step back 3 at the buzzer.
Yeah, she does that. Bucket getters get her.
You can't help but watch when she plays, where she's shooting from, the range, the confidence. It's crazy, though, just because her shot is like that. It's at that level.
She's incredible. I mean, especially, too, the exact shot that she broke it. It's really cool to see somebody just not be afraid of the moment.
Her scoring record now stands alone in women's NCAA basketball. Far from finished, Clark aims for more madness in March. But for now, she's just a kid from Iowa, living her dream, becoming the brightest shooting star in college basketball.
It was really magical to be there and see her set that record, but it's even more magical to watch how those fans love and adore her. She has given them so much joy and celebration. Caitlin Clark, you've been so great for basketball, and of course, we had to do this segment from the logo on your behalf.
I love that. Thank you so much, Holly. And I think that, listen, there's been plenty of commentary this week, some debating, some arguing about where Caitlin Clark sort of ranks in terms of the greatest of all time status as a women's basketball player. But I think the best part about this whole situation, CP, is that it has allowed us to shine a spotlight on some of the women that were waymaking before all the fanfare.
Yeah, because when you have players like Lynette Woodard and you also have Pearl Moore, women weren't on TV, and these are women that were setting records of their own. When you look at Pearl Moore, she has the AIAW record, 3,884 points. Lynette Woodard and what she did at Kansas, she's an AIAW major college record. And listen, these women put up buckets. That's before the three-point line.
Right.
They were able to go get it done. So it's not a debate of did Caitlin break theirs or not? Just bring light to celebrate the building stones that have allowed us to have women's basketball where it is today.
Absolutely, and I want to fast forward a little bit to the present day, because I've had the privilege and the pleasure of playing against and at times with some players by the name of Candace Parker and Maya Moore that were true game changers in how they approached the game. I mean, to this day, other than my sister, Maya was different on the block, in the post. And so I know we're celebrating three-point shots and the history that Caitlin made, but I loved how we had the opportunity to highlight the game changers from decade to decade.
And I have to highlight the one that was just sitting right here in between us and Dawn Staley. I had the pleasure and the honor of talking to her. There was a documentary that came out about the 1996 U.S. women's team that went on to win gold, and the conditions were hard. Coach Staley was on that team, and we did a little sit-down. I did a sit-down with her, and I was like, when it was the hardest and you were ready to quit, what pushed you through? And she looked at me dead in my face in front of all these people, and she said, I never thought about quitting. It never crossed my mind. I knew I was moving the game forward. It didn't even cross her mind when things were hard to quit, and when she didn't get all the recognition to give up, didn't even cross her mind because she was moving the game forward. That's what Lynette Woodard did. That's what Pearl Moore did. That's what
Cheryl Miller
did. Cheryl Miller. They didn't get the recognition that we have today. We didn't have shows back then. We celebrate them. We weren't on ABC.
No.
So shout out to all the Trailblazers. We appreciate you, and the game is so much better because of them.
And certainly the game here in South Carolina is so much better because of Dawn Staley, as we had this week our first reveal of the top 16 from the NCAA Selection Committee. And I know you're shocked here. But again, South Carolina is on top. Ohio State, Colorado, and Stanford complete the 1 seeds right now. Didn't take long for things to get shaken up because Friday was a wild night in the Pac-12, though, as we take a look at some things that happened. Utah, they led by as many as 18 points at home against number 8 Colorado, but they trailed by 1. And off the bench, and Utah prevails. If you thought that was nuts, UCLA, Oregon State, bananas.
You
4
better.
go-ahead
Come on.
bucks
Fear
in the
Oregon
final
State.
10 seconds, right?
Hey,
that one mattered
telling
the
y'all.
most. Look at that. Talia von Oliphant, 3-pointer at the horn. Beavers get the dub, and later today, those Beavers will host superstar freshman Juju Watkins, number 10 USC. Oregon State 21-3 this season and has won 3 straight games versus top 10 teams. I know you always joke that like you're always carrying the pail for the Pac-12, but in this situation, 4 teams in the top 16, it's just really incredible for a conference that is on its way out.
Stop it. Stop it. I know. We've been saving best for last. I never thought we'd come to a day where it's like final year of the Pac-12. We finally arrived, and then we disseminate. But I've loved to see what, all those stars have made names for themselves. I mean, I go to Stanford. That's my thing. But USC, UCLA, the list goes on. And I think, we had this saying, don't sleep on the Pac-12, don't sleep on them, and now they've arrived. So it's been a good year for the Pac, but overall, I think the competitive nature across the country through guard play, through post play has been through the roof.
Yeah, I'm really impressed with Colorado. I mean, you talk about a team that forces 16 turnovers a game. 10 of those are steals. They're physical. We saw them take down LSU. I know they've dropped 2 games recently, but I still have a lot of belief in this team. Prime time on the football squad is not the only prime time that's happening at Colorado. This is a veteran squad. They get 19 assists per game. Their connectedness on the offensive end and the defensive end. Jalen Sherrod is one of my favorite players in the country. She gets steals, she gets assists. She's 5'7", but she plays so much bigger than that. I love what I'm seeing from Colorado. They really carried the momentum from last season into this season.
Well, you've got Oregon State that is on a 6-game win streak, and they are a player that I think everybody in the country needs to be worried about because Scott Rueck does a terrific job of controlling the tempo of the game. So when he can take possessions away from you and knock down the 3-point shot, then that's something that you've got to worry about, because if you can't match him 3s for 3s and score against that defense, he's big at all 5 possessions, all 5 positions. So I think that Oregon State could be that dark horse that could be dancing late.
A little dark horsing dance. Okay, again, we will make some picks a little later on in the show. We'll see how you feel about Oregon State facing USC. But from the Pac-12 to the ACC, we are so excited to reveal where the game day bus is headed to next. Blacksburg,
coming for you.
Ready. We are coming for you. Virginia Tech, UNC next Sunday at 11 a.m. Eastern on ESPN. Get ready at Sharky's or any of those other college bars. I just know Sharky's. 4 games in the ACC within a game and a half each other for that top spot, including Virginia Tech. It's going to be an incredible race down the stretch.
I just love when the fans start jumping and they go crazy.
You know it.
That is my favorite part. That's my favorite part. It's going to be great.
Certainly these fans know a little something about jumping up and down. They're quiet right now, but they'll get cranked back up. Coming up, South Carolina atop the SEC standings and their head coach, Dawn Staley, the undefeated leader in fashion. So much more here on College Game Day on ABC as we come to you live from Colonial Life Arena in Columbia, South Carolina. Stick around.
You want Coach Staley's handles or her wardrobe?
Wardrobe.
Louis Vuitton, Doc.
Louis Vuitton. I like Louis. I like clothes in which that will be classics. It's comfortable. It's relatable to people. They were calling me Blue. Our graphic designer made it up for somebody else, and I saw it. I was like, I need that.
You're watching College Game Day, covered by State Farm.
Well, we are counting down to tip-off, brought to you by Wendy's. Don't forget to order your delivery before game day. Certainly, she's counting down to tip-off as well. We're so pleased to be joined as she's warming up with Raven Johnson. Hey, Raven, thanks for joining us here as we sit on the desk, and you're about to get down to business. But, Raven, we've done a lot of talking about how different this team is from last year's team. But you've talked a lot about being on a revenge tour of sorts. Why?
I just think from last year, especially what I went through, a lot of people don't know what I went through
do behind doors. I wanted to quit basketball. I was in a depressed stage, so I just think I use that as fuel to the fire so I can come out here and show the people what I'm really made of.
And you're doing exactly that. What's up, Raven? It's your girl, Chineo Gameday. And to play at South Carolina means you play with great expectations. What do you and your teammates do to remain cool, calm, and collected versus your competition?
Well, that started with Coach Staley, the coaching staff. If y'all would have seen us in June, I don't think this team, you would never thought this team would have been the #1 team in the country. I think it started with Coach staff and Coach Staley just having the confidence in us to get out here and play every day and just be disciplined. That's what she's big on, being disciplined.
Hey, Raven, one of the things of Coach Staley that she was disciplined, she wore a rubber band around her wrist, kind of pop herself every time she turned the ball over. Have you thought about doing that? And would you or would you not?
Well, I think my turnover ratio is really good right now. So if I do start turning the ball over, maybe I will try that.
Raven, what's up? It's Drea. One of my favorite things when I watch you all play at South Carolina is how close you are and how much fun it seems like you have. That's the best thing about basketball is the relationships. You're best friends, though, with the dominant player on the inside in Camila Cardoso. How would you describe the friendship and the connection that you and Camila, right there, she gave you a high five. How would you describe y'all's connection?
Well, I've been playing with Camila since I was in 9th grade. Camila has came a long way. And when she first got to America, she didn't know a lick of English. I remember when we first played, I had to call a play in like Portuguese for her so she could understand. So she came a long way. I'm proud of her. And Camila's like everything to me. I just know everything about her. I know her sweet spot. I know where she likes the ball. I just love Camila.
I want to go back really quickly, Raven, to something that you said when we first started this conversation about being depressed and wanting to quit basketball and people not understanding that struggle that you were going through last year. What turned that around? What do you attribute sort of the change in attitude since then?
Well, it starts with our coaching staff, the support system we have here. I remember talking to our therapist named Raylene, and she helped me a lot during that time. Then I got closer with LA, and she got me closer with God. So ever since I got closer with God, I just realized who I was, and I looked at myself every day, and I was like, there's no reason to quit. You know, everything happens for a reason, so just use it as fuel to the fire.
And you know, when you talk about getting and working on the mental side, you also have to put the time in the gym, Raven. How would you describe to the people at home the time that you put in the gym, not just for your shot, but for your overall game that we see today?
Yeah, that started over the summer. I was in the gym every day working on my shot. That was one of my weaknesses, to work on the three-point shot. I think that was one of the things I worked on over the summer. And then confidence. Confidence takes you a long way. You don't have to be the best player out here. If you got the confidence, that's all that matters. So I learned that. So confidence definitely, you know, I have a lot of confidence this season.
Well, Raven, thank you so much. We just want to say that we appreciate you again interrupting your warm-ups so that you could join us. Good luck today and good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. And what an incredible message there by Raven as well.
Love
Therapy, getting closer to God. Yeah, you better preach on this Sunday, sis. It's really hard to underscore how dominant South Carolina is. We say it all the time, but Shanae, you still felt like you learned something from them when you watched them in that 18-point victory over UConn last Sunday.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's time to break it down. This is what I say, talk nerdy to you, because South Carolina is undefeated in a league of their own based off of taking their one maybe weakness and turning it into their strength. Shot-making ability has unlocked the Gamecocks, and there's no better example of this than Te-Hina Pow Pow, her ability to knock down shots. Now, usually when you have post players that are so talented, you pound the ball in the paint, but instead, now they're running misdirection actions to feed the hot hand. Te-Hina knocked him down, and there it goes. Pow, pow, for three. What I love is that she ranks second in D1 in three-point shooting percentage. And so, again, here, there's Watkins saying, go ahead, cut through. I'm going to set a brush screen to get it to our shooter. She has unlocked everything for this Gamecocks offense, and that's why they're remaining with this right here in the loss column.
You know, after that UConn game, one of my favorite things that Gino said about South Carolina, he was like, they made us pay for every mistake that we made. And that's South Carolina's offense. Every mistake Connecticut made, South Carolina made them pay. But think about last season. They weren't mistakes. People were intentionally not guarding them. It looked like a mistake, but it wasn't a mistake. You can't do that this year. They'll make you pay for accidental mistakes, and there's no intentional mistakes when you face this team. You have got to be on point.
Well, everything is about coaching and preparation, and Dawn prepared her bench to be ready to step in when the freshies went on. So that's why you see Raven Johnson able to be prepared when she came in. Bree Hall, Ashlyn Watkins, Chloe Kitts. Who would have thought Chloe Kitts would be in the starting lineup this season? But she went to work in the offseason, and she was prepared and ready. And the same thing's going to happen. It's the players that are the reserves coming in from next year. They're going to be ready. That's how you sustain success.
Can we take a moment to celebrate their post, Kitts and Watkins?
Yes.
Because people thought that when Cardoso was going to go represent the national team, oh, this might be my opportunity to cook against the #1 team. Instead, they stepped up, not just offensively with their shot making, but also defensively from the interior.
And also celebrate them, not for their play, but also for their buy-in. They didn't play very many minutes last season, and they stuck with it. And you see that. These elite freshmen come in, but they're bought into the process. Season in and season out. It's
you know what they never do either? This team never flinches. They don't. If it's not going well, they go to the first, second, third line of defense. They never flinch. All right, with that, she never flinches either. Holly Rose in the stands with arguably the cutest fan out there. Holly, who you got?
I am here with the most adorable little girl, Eva. Are we going to be right back from break?
Yes.
Yes, we are. We're going to have the best of social coming up next, and who can challenge South Carolina? We'll be back from Columbia. It is so fun here.
If your season was a movie, what would it be called? I don't know. That's kind of a hard question.
Protect this house. No bars.
I want to figure this out.
The good, the bad, and the ugly.
Everybody, isn't that the dog one? If your season was a movie.
Medea.
Big shot.
All right, we'll certainly see if Iowa has what it takes to contend with South Carolina, because ESPN Bet has South Carolina's greatness in their own hands. A prop earlier this week said, who will win the title, South Carolina or the field? Bet 100 on South Carolina, you net 105 if they cut down the nets in Cleveland. Bet 100 on any other team and you'd net $71. But ladies, who do you think is the biggest contender to stop this Gamecocks train, potentially?
I think one of the best matchups would be UCLA, and that's because they've got a rotation of bigs. You have Lauren Betts. You also have Angela Dukelich. You have Lena Suntok, who can rotate in, and the last two can stretch the floor and shoot the three. They also have a group of that were super freshmen last year. They are super sophomores this year, and so they have experience. You have Kiki Jefferson, and you've got London Jones, who can knock down the three. So they've got a good inside-out combination that would be good.
Look, for me, I'm going to go with Ohio State. I know that's kind of a sleeper, but this team since 2024 has one of the best records and is streaking. Give me Team JC, give me Team Cody, and if you're going to beat South Carolina, you got to apply the pressure, because they handle pressure pretty well. And this team is ferocious in their, approach to how they see the game, and so I'm looking at the Buckeyes like, maybe they'll make some big bucks in March. You know what I'm saying?
And I simply can't leave out the reigning national championship winning LSU Tigers. I think they're starting to figure out their lineup just a little bit, and you cannot deny Angel Reese. I was talking to a WNBA GM just recently, and he said, listen, she is a winner. She is relentless. And then what they add, another relentless worker in Anissa Morrow. Keeping those two off the glass is a tall task. They've got Michaela Williams, who's a freshman, who can knock down any shot on the floor, and they've got the confidence. You heard Raven Johnson talking about confidence. Yeah. LSU played South Carolina close. They made some poor decisions down the stretch. They got tired down the stretch. They've got some things to figure out, but they have the confidence, and I think that's going to be the biggest piece when you face this team.
True. By the way, LSU on the recent top 16 reveal were on the 3 line as of now. We'll have a second reveal coming in the next couple of weeks. With that, you guys ready to make some game picks?
Let's go. Let's get
All
into
right,
it.
we'll make today's game picks presented by Intuit QuickBooks. We start with Virginia Tech at Louisville, a game that's on 2 p.m. on ESPN.
I'll go first.
Go for it.
I'm going with Virginia Tech.
Okay.
The combination of Georgia Amore and Elizabeth Kitley, and Kitley throughout the season has gotten stronger and more effective inside. And as long as she continues to dominate in the paint, Amore stroking it from out deep. Hey, I think Virginia Tech takes care of home court.
So I have a question. Al, Drea, Coach, where are we going next week?
Virginia Tech.
Give me the homers, man. Liz Kitley. I'm going with that. 22 points, 12 rebounds. Sign me up for all of that.
They're going to have to handle Louisville's pressure. I think they have the veteran point guard to do so in Georgia Amore. And despite how small she is, she's got crafty handles to get the ball out of the trap. She can deliver it where it needs to be. I do think Virginia's going to take care of business. But Louisville's playing good ball, and they've got a good team effort.
I'm sorry. What's that on my back? That's a target, because I'm going with Louisville, who is a perfect 13-0 at home and beating their opponents at home by over 46 points per game. Okay, so I'm going to go with them. Our next game, USC at Oregon State, a game that's on at 3 p.m. today. Who you got? Carolyn, you first.
I'm going Oregon State.
Graphic, okay?
Oregon State, absolutely. Because Oregon State playing at home and how they're playing, they've got great momentum. Did you see that last-second shot against UCLA? Yeah, I think that Oregon State takes care of this game against USC.
Look, in Scott Rueck, I trust. That man knows how to game plan. If it's going to be, oh, we've got Juju coming in, this is going to be tough. Guess what? He will walk the ball up the floor to limit possession, so give me the Beavers.
Who better to take down a team that is flying high on this long win streak than the great Juju Watkins? You think I'm picking against Juju? I'm not. I'm going with the Trojans.
She was 11 of 33 the first time they 11 of 33 the first time they matched that.
She's going to do better than that. It's a challenge. She's going to step up to the challenge.
To back up my girl Drea, the last time Juju played a ranked team, she hung 51 against Stanford. Give me USC. I'm going to go with USC as my pick.
I'm with you.
How about the all-SEC matchup, Tennessee and Vandy? Who you got there, CP?
I got the Vanderbilt Commodores. It was a close game in Knoxville. They are in Nashville now. Now, Sasha Washington and Camille Pierre, you got to anchor the paint because Vandy's got to take care of Kia Jackson for Tennessee. She is on a tear right now.
Yeah, but also I'm going to go, Drea, you'd be very proud of me. I'm going Tennessee, baby. I'll be nice now that we're not sharing the court anymore. Just because you played at your level of competition, and it really sets the tone for you moving forward. So I've got Tennessee. I've got the Vols in this. So we're cool now?
Yeah, no. You put up 30 points. You got 30 points and 20 rebounds when you played against us, and I felt that, and it was horrible.
Did you send her a card?
I certainly didn't send her a card.
You getting mad? I'm getting rich. It's all good, girl.
I'm going to go with Tennessee, but let me give the Lady Vols a little PSA.
She had no choice.
How hard you played against South Carolina.
Thank you.
That is the energy you need to bring against every opponent. If they bring that kind of energy,
that's what I was saying.
I think they're going to get the win.
You know, the last time, it's been a while, but the last time that Vanderbilt actually beat Tennessee at home was in 2014.
Yeah,
when she was on that team as a member of the Lady Vol. What happened there?
Yeah, can't remember. Don't blackout. Forgot about it.
I'll come in with the shade on the peg.
I had to hit a little bit of shade.
You know what? I'm going to go. I am married to a Commodore. He will kill me. I'm going to go with Vanderbilt. Anchors down, go, door, goat. And, of course.
Oh, wait, that's exciting for us now.
That's exciting. And the game that we're here for right now, Georgia, South Carolina. Who you got, CP, in this one?
I got South Carolina. They're playing on a tear, and they have the height to be able to get the ball inside even when Georgia plays that zone. They just got to take care of the ball because the Bulldogs are going to try to turn them over, but I think it's South Carolina.
Look, you got to go with South Carolina. We started off the show today with you carrying a bird, and I had a fear of birds, and so does the rest of the nation. So once again, South Carolina, go Cox.
Yeah, we've talked about South Carolina's offense this show because that's the biggest difference from last season to this season, but let's not forget their defense is still stifling. Georgia struggles to score, so I'm going to go with South Carolina on this one.
Okay, listen.
Where are you going?
Where are you going? Georgia is in my blood.
Bulldog.
I'm your resident dog. I bark like a you-know-what all the time on the desk at Sports Center. Literally, they are my team, so of course, I'm going with South Carolina. I'm not crazy.
That's what we call a pump fake.
I just did a little bit of pump fake on you. You see here, this has been a fantastic show. First time Game Day was on ABC. So grateful to be here. We will see you next week in Virginia Tech. But for now, we get it over to the game broadcast. Steph White and Pam Ward on the call. We'll see you next week. This has been College Game Day.